I've always thought of human creativity to be the one true means of combating greed and corruption. Now, think about that for a moment. I know it's a totally ambiguous answer. Creativity. It is completely circumstantial, it's situational, it's indeterminable how it's going to unfurl as it's implemented, but it really is the solution and what I consider the definitive means of us making it through the next 20 years, I'd say, as a species. Because what is unfolding in the world, if you're privy to it even one iota, and I like to think I know what's going on out there, but of course I'm only getting granules of sand of the entirety of the beach of chaos that just goes on at any given moment. And of course, it's not to say the world is not a beautiful place. I try to make the most of every single day, especially when that sun is out in the sky. Just getting out there, getting that sunlight, going for a nice, peaceful, pleasant walk. But you cannot exist and not be aware of threats and dangers that are occurring all around you, economically, socially, politically. You have to be privy to these things. You have to know what's going on so that you can make smarter and wiser choices in the way that you carry on within this world. Your survival depends on it. You don't want to be out of the loop. You don't want to be so far enmeshed in the loop that it takes over your consciousness. That is dangerous. But at the same time, you don't want to be so naive as to not know what's going on around you. But that aside, back to the core here, creativity as a means of liberating yourself from the confines of, let's say, for example, a shitty job. I know it's such a crude, crass example, but it's totally applicable because most people would rather not have to get up at 6 a.m. and grind out whatever they're doing to make a few bucks to survive. There's so much more to life. And when we've seen people who have mastered abilities, mastered talents, basically mastered themselves and have found a particular outlet to express their persona and their knowledge in such a profound and meaningful way that they are rewarded materially for that, having endured that journey and come out the other side. But also there's a spiritual liberation that happens too. And I think it's because they've treated their lives in a creative way. They haven't just gone with the status quo. They haven't just submitted to the system that exists as a means of procuring a livelihood. They have forged their own path. And I think for the vast majority of people, this is going to have to be something to explore because the system that we've come to know, the systems, I pluralize that because there are systems in every facet of society. Whatever you're doing, your work, your relationships, your just the ways you get around, even driving a car, everything is changing. People are being outpriced from their experience, and that's that's literally forcing them to think about things differently and ultimately to do things differently. If your old habits have to suddenly shift, not because you want them to, but because it's been thrust upon you to make that change, it's pretty cage rattling. It's pretty intense. But I feel that that's happening now, and a prime example of that is just there's so many examples, but we've got AI taking jobs. It's creating new jobs, but at the same time, it's cutting a lot of jobs away for the sake of efficiency, whatever that ultimately means. I think a lot of people really like engaging in the work they do that AI might be taking jobs away from. So, that's a really foolish thing for our species to be condoning, I think. But at the same time, it's all about money, right? It's always about money. But since we still require money to keep civilization functioning, as optimally as we think it is, we've got to start getting creative on an individual basis so that we can, again, just exist, really. Just find a means to exist and ultimately thrive, because just surviving is never, it's not what life is about. We're not animals. We're more than animals. So we have it within us to deal with our most basic primal needs and then exceed beyond them and experience new experiences. Just engage in new experiences beyond just the need for food, sleep, sex, even warmth, water. These are very basic needs to keep us functioning. But we have an intellect, we have a creative mind that we can use to build and invent and explore. And it's virtually limitless. I mean, but back to the core of this video, the essentiality of creativity itself and how imperative it's going to be to really carry the species into the future. Now, here's the question I wanted to pose. I wanted to pose this earlier. Can you, as the viewer watching this, listening to this, are you able to go out today and find a way to earn just $5 without being employed by someone? Can you do it? Can you go out there and find a way to make money for yourself using whatever abilities you have and doing it in an honest way? Not stealing it, not borrowing it, not taking it, earning it with your natural given abilities or talents, or because you creatively thought of a way that you could earn that money by doing something of service, of importance or significance to somebody, for somebody, to get that money. I mean, that's something they don't teach that in school. That's what we should be learning from kindergarten. How to express ourselves so that we can earn a living for ourselves. Like, it's so ridiculous when you think about it, but I gotta leave you with that question. Are you capable of thinking of a way to earn $5, even $1, earn $1 from somebody out there using a strength, skill, ability that you have? Can you do it within the next 24 hours? I'm not talking about $1,000 or even $100, just one single dollar, or 5 or 10 or 20, but can you do it? And the real question is, why won't you do it? I know it's because there's steady pay with your current job. Your employer's paying you consistently to come in and do the job that you've been hired to do. But what if that job disappears? What if getting hired at a new job becomes a serious challenge? That is where I feel things are going. And a lot of people are deeply unprepared for this future that might arise very soon. And rather than society spiraling into a totally chaotic, dystopic nightmare, dystopic, the two words always made sense to me. Rather than it going in that direction, we have to kind of prepare for that. And I think asking yourself, can I do this? Can I find a way to make it on my own with who I am and the strengths I've got, is going to be something so critical. We're going to have to start taking it very seriously. But like I said at the beginning, creativity is the way forwards. And it's going to be the one true means of combating and destroying greed and corruption ultimately. And I think, in the future down the road, it could very well be possible that we go back to some kind of bartering system where we trade our unique talents and skills for just a beautiful existence. Not only just survival, but when you participate fully as your authentic self, you get to enjoy all the creations, all the experiences that we have contributed to our species as a whole. Maybe it's just a pipe dream, but who knows? Who knows? I'm trying to stay optimistic despite all the crazy bullshit I see out there and I hear about and I read about. But, ultimately just remembering who you are, what you're capable of, being authentic and being creative with your authentic self is so important. Anyways, I've kept you guys long enough. If you made it this far into the video, I appreciate it greatly. If you enjoy this content, these thoughts, consider subscribing. And I always welcome comments. I love to hear what you guys have to say, and I'll get back to you if you do reply. Catch you guys for the next video. Take care.